You have legal questions. Amy the attorney has the answers. Welcome to today's show. And here's Amy.
Hello, and welcome to Amy the attorney. I'm so glad to be joined today by Adrienne Haynes. She is a business law lawyer, an entrepreneur law lawyer. Her law firm is Seed Law. And I am so excited to have her on the show. I met Adrienne. I've been following her on social media for quite a while. Finally met her in person about a year ago. She is a dynamic woman, entrepreneur, lawyer herself, entrepreneur before she was a lawyer, entrepreneur now, and helps businesses and entrepreneurs when they're starting their business, while they're in the midst of their business. And so I'm so excited to have her on today. Welcome, Adrienne.
Amy, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
All right, so we're just going to cut into the heart of your business and your practice of law. Will you tell us what kind of law you practice and who a typical client might be, although I know that may vary?
Sure. So I like to say that we do all things business law. Some people understand that to be corporate law. Some people call it transactional law. But really, we help people at any stage of business that they might be in. We do like to help people create their companies because we want to help people start their business with a firm foundation. But because we've been in business now next year, 5 years, of course, we've had clients that over time we've grown with. So we like to work with second stage companies as well. So we help people grow, scale, and protect their business from start really to finish.
Okay, and so let's talk about somebody that is just creating a company or business. Do you service both service businesses and not non-service business? I don't even know what that's called. Is it all kinds of businesses that you service?
Yes. So it doesn't matter if it's a service-based business or if somebody's making a product or if they're a professional service provider. We represent some doctors, we represent lawyers, those who are entrepreneurial. So we really try to help people at any stage. And we don't help people with business planning, but we try to be a strategic partner to help people think through some of the business considerations that they'll need to consider when we're making legal decisions too.
Okay, great. So somebody starting a company, what are their legal needs?
Sure. So one of the things that we help people with at the beginning is thinking about what sort of entity they should form. So what sort of business they actually need to register. We help people go through the process and get the documents necessary to operate their business in a legal capacity. We also help people, first-time business owners. We're helping create client agreements and relationship agreements so that they can have, written record of the relationships that they're beginning to create. So those are some of the things that we're talking to first-time or early-stage business owners about.
Would there be a situation where a business would come in after they've been established that they need to go back and do that kind of help? Like, say they just started a business and now they're like, you know what? I don't have any of this together.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
We help existing businesses that way. Sometimes people may need to open a bank account or get a loan, and they may need some governing documentation for their company that they never wrote at the beginning. But that's common, right? Entrepreneurs tend to move really fast. Entrepreneurs that are creating their business out of necessity. Some do not take the time that's necessary at the beginning to kind of think through the long-term plan. So we catch people, existing business owners who are ready to kind of document their business relationships. They might be thinking about bringing on their first employee. They might be about to sign a big new client and they don't have a client agreement. Those are some of the things we're helping existing business owners with.
When you say you don't help with the business plan or the business planning, are you still able to connect your clients to the services that they would need, that an entrepreneur or starting business would need? Like, when I was thinking about this, it was insurance was the first thing that came to mind, but I'm sure there's a myriad of other businesses that touch when you're starting your own business.
Absolutely. So what we describe that as helping our clients build their professional dream team. So we're telling clients that they need, a variety of professional service providers who understand their business, and where they want to go and can help them create a strategy for some of their blind spots. So I think insurance is a great recommendation. We also have a list of accountants and CPAs and bookkeepers that we share with our clients. Bankers is another one. So those, and of course, their legal team. And sometimes, for larger businesses or even first-time businesses that tend to be complex, we're helping them put together a legal team as well.
Okay. So we were first talking about people that are just starting out, but you also help people as their corporate counsel. So basically, you're the lawyer. Your team are the set of lawyers that they are coming to for legal advice in their ongoing venture. Explain a little bit about that part of your business.
Sure. For example, we do a lot of work in construction, and a lot of construction contractors, when they're doing commercial work, have some pretty hefty agreements that they need to understand and sign and really operate within so that they can be successful in the project. So some of our longest clients, we review every agreement before they sign it, because it's our responsibility to help them understand kind of their scope of liability and where they can, grow and where they might need to be mindful of some of the contract restrictions. So that's the way that we might do that.
Okay. And then you also help people who are considering leaving their business, selling their business, maybe giving their business or leaving their business to their family and or their successor. Explain a little bit about that kind of work.
So we do like to help people consider buying and selling businesses. So one of the clients that we were working with recently, actually we did an agreement for them, an independent contractor agreement for them 3 or 4 years ago. And they called the firm again a few weeks ago because they are a local catering company that is growing, and they're considering buying a local team leasing business that tends to work specifically with caterers. So these are the kind of negotiations and transactions that we work with clients through if they're considering buying a business. And if a client is considering selling a business, we really help them work through the considerations of what is the value of the business, what exactly are the terms that you'd like to sell the business on. Some people want to stay involved in the business for a while. Some people want their business to continue to provide some sort of recurring revenue for them. So we're helping people consider what they own, the value of what it is, how to structure the deal or paper the deal, as we say. And I would also just mention, Amy, is that we don't only help people with that at the end. So succession planning is really something that we encourage our clients to. First, if we're helping start a business, we're trying to encourage our clients to think about the fact that one day you may want to exit your business, whether it's voluntary or involuntary, and how to create some sort of plan around that. And we ask our clients, or we recommend them, to create a succession plan, which is a pretty complex process that you should go through and then review every 2 years, because the laws change, tax laws change, health conditions might change. Life happens. And so we encourage our clients to create a succession plan and also to review it regularly too.
Would it be something, if somebody was your client, you helped them draw up their papers, get started, that you would calendar like 2 years from there to go and check in with them and say, hey, it's been 2 years. I want to check in with you about this kind, just exactly what you're saying, new laws, updates. Is that something they would need to pay for, or is that something, tell me about that?
Good question. So first, yes, of course, we're trying to create, and our really intention at every turn, even if a client just calls us to draft an agreement, we want to create a long-term relationship with them. So of course, like if we're doing our job well, they will consider us first when they think about a business transaction that might need an attorney. But we do also try to calendar those sorts of things for clients too, especially, if there's a project that I know has a timeline, but we're not necessarily responsible for it. We still try to calendar it to stay in touch with the client. And when I'm doing my job really well, I'm checking in with clients quarterly, because business, one of the things I tell my clients and that I know from my own companies is that every business decision you make has a legal ramification, whether you recognize it at that time or not. And so it is our job as entrepreneurial lawyers to try to help our clients, mitigate their risk and see their blind spots. And so, yes, we try to stay in touch over time. And I think anybody who's really growing a business should want a professional service provider who wants that kind of long-term relationship.
Absolutely. I just think it's probably not even, I think so many young or starting off businesses wouldn't even recognize the need for it. Just saying, hey, we're getting out there and doing the thing, and then coming back and being like, oh my gosh, we've opened ourselves up to a lawsuit, or, so of course, as a lawyer, I'm thinking of all the terrible things that could happen, but
yeah. And so it's totally my job to think about that for our business clients too. And we like to say that a little well-placed fear never hurt anyone. And in the business space, it's important because, if you make certain moves in your business that you haven't considered thoughtfully, it could open someone up to a lot of liability. And as entrepreneurs, often people consider entrepreneurship to be very risky. I consider employment to also be pretty risky because you can lose your job very quickly. And so for entrepreneurs, our job is to help them consider a long-term plan so that they can stay in business. And I think that one of the things that keeps small business owners from talking to a lawyer is they assume that it will be very expensive. And so they just stay away. They try to manage it. Even when you're registering your business, you start to see like, ooh, that looks like a legal term of art. That looks like maybe I should ask someone. But we work with a lot of do-it-yourself entrepreneurs who have made it through the registration process on their own. And then, in the course of business, realize, man, I really need help. And I don't think it's ever too early, to call a lawyer. And we try to give complimentary consultations if we can. We do now have a consultation fee because we were doing free office hours for years. So we had to manage that as a business, but we refund that consultation fee once clients actually become a signed client. So we like to say we work as hard for someone's business as they will, which for most clients means that we are really there as their partner. And sometimes a consultation fee just proves that too, that you have some skin in the game. But we try, like I said, to develop those long-term relationships with all of our clients. And we really find joy in that.
I love that. I mean, you can tell how passionate you are about the subject. And this is a nice segue into how do you charge? How do you charge your clients?
Yeah, great question. So for our consultation, we have a $125 consultation fee. It's 30 minutes, but we try to come to that meeting very prepared so that by the time we leave that meeting, we have a legal plan. We do have an hourly rate for our work, but we try to, I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I understand the importance of a budget. I know how scary it can be to feel like you're just on the clock with someone. So we try to, as best as we can, for our most frequent type of work that we do, we try to do packages so people understand, this is probably going to take us about 10 hours. Here's what you can anticipate. And we try to just stay in touch with clients. If we get to the point where we're 8 hours into a retainer and we can tell that we still have 6 hours of work left, we try to not bill for all the work if we can. We just try to honor our clients, So I would say that we have an hourly rate, but we try to offer our clients packages so that they can budget.
So it would be both models, just hourly and flat fee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I would love to hear a story or two of a client that you have had and that you had in the past that is emblematic of your clientele, sort of their story from beginning to end. A lot of the guests that I've interviewed on the show are more in litigation. And so this is going to be great and interesting because it's not, knock on wood, ending in litigation. So let me hear some stories without naming names.
Sure, of course. None of these clients that I'm about to share with have had to go through litigation, just doing my quick review. And we do like to say that we try to keep our clients out of court as best we can. We try to do what we call preventative law. let's get you some, documents that help you have some clear agreements with people so that we don't have to end up in court. So I have a few stories of clients that kind of share some of the types of work that we help people with. The first client of CU Law was my nail salon. At the time, I had just passed the bar, and she had just gotten a letter from the Missouri Department of Labor about the fact that she really needed to make a clear distinction between independent contractors and employees in her business. And so what we did was we helped her develop both of those contracts. She had some people in the salon that were employees and some that had a clear distinction as independent contractors. So we drafted both of those agreements and helped her facilitate the process of making sure everyone understood and signed. Another client that we worked with was a woman that we met during our free office hours several years ago, and we still have the pleasure of working with her. She has a nonprofit. She is a mother. And her daughter had some real challenges in her life with substance abuse and just tough life situations. And so she decided to create a nonprofit that provided resources beyond the transitional housing support. Often those programs are the first year and a half. So what happens to women and families after they've graduated from those? So that was a beautiful example of a mother creating a business out of a passion because she saw a need that her own daughter was facing. And so we ended up doing a lot of passion projects for people too, helping them organize and validate their passion projects, I would say.
But you also work with larger companies or companies that are scalable and are, looking to expand.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next client story I wanted to share, it's a woman-owned technology firm. She has a very large business in terms of annual revenues. And she came to us when she already had some client agreements in place and some team agreements in place, but they'd written for a different business. It was one of those times where maybe she had downloaded some documents online or perhaps hired a firm that was much too large for her business. And they created these documents that didn't really speak to how she was working with people. And so we worked with her to update her client agreements. But client agreements should, as a business scales, be updated. The way that I worked with my clients 3 years ago is a little bit different than the way I work with them now because we've matured. So we help people update agreements. We recently helped a group of gentlemen create a qualified opportunity zone fund so that they can do some investments in opportunity zones. So that's an example of a larger scale, long-term project.
I would love for you to expand a little bit on the qualified opportunity zone that I've heard mentioned, and that I would like to hear about that and know more about it.
Sure. So opportunity zones in general are designated census tracts that our governor has outlined as places that are ripe for investment, that have been historically disinvested in and are now, it's really a tax incentive that asks investors to make a long-term investment that allows you to have a capital gains tax set aside. And you don't actually get that tax set aside, the full benefit of it, until really there's like a 5-year benchmark, there's a 7-year benchmark, and then also a 10-year. So it's for people who really are looking to make an investment, but also need that tax break.
Okay. And there's different ones all through the state of Missouri. There's different zones.
Yes. And to create the fund, you really just register the business and you notify the IRS through a filing. So one of the challenges with opportunity zones that people are concerned about is what people are calling secret gentrification. In these areas that are ripe for reinvestment, it tends to be in communities where maybe people don't even know what a capital gains tax set aside is. And so the exciting part about the client that we're able to work with is it's a group of investors who are from the region that are looking to organize their funds so they can not only reinvest in their community, but also reap these tax benefits. So it's an exciting project for us. We like to work with clients who have really a heart for community, even when they have large business. So yeah.
I love that. All right. So I know you do a lot with the Kauffman Foundation, and out of the Kauffman Foundation comes many entrepreneurs, small, big. Tell me a little bit about your work with the Kauffman Foundation.
I've been fortunate to work with the Kauffman Foundation really since maybe for the last 8 years now. So I was pretty new to Kansas City before I started knocking on their door as the world's largest foundation for entrepreneurship. I figured there had to be some work for me. And so I started, helping them update some websites. There's this resource called eShip Law, which is a resource between business professors, attorneys, faculty, and staff that care about entrepreneurship and the law. And today, I'm very proud to work with the Kauffman Foundation as an innovator in residence. So it's a 2-year fellowship, really becoming a 3-year fellowship, where they asked us to consider some systemic challenges that we had seen in our work, and to create some sort of solution around that. And so the work that I'm doing really stemmed from some of the work I got to do when I was doing my work at Legal Aid, which was the urban core estate planning process. So we were helping people from the heart of the city create some non-probate transfers through beneficiary deeds, and really considering the impact that that has on the community's ability to kind of transfer generational wealth. And so today, the project that I'm working on, it's a pilot program in 3 communities. It offers a curriculum for communities to think about large-scale innovation. Those are kind of fuzzy words, but it's a group of 7 to 15 folks in each of these regions that meets monthly and is trying to consider, what role they want to play and how our community grows and advances in the next 20 years, and how to strategically, bring in partners so that we can all grow. It's been so fun.
I love it. You are a woman after my own heart that is working with maybe some communities that haven't necessarily had access to great legal minds like yourself. So I think that's so fantastic. Okay, you said that you're trying to keep your clients out of the courtroom. What happens when they get served and are going to have to go into the courtroom?
Yeah, and it does happen when they don't listen to it. So I have been really fortunate over the course of the firm to be able to do what I recommend all entrepreneurs do, which is to surround yourself with people smarter than you. And we have 2 attorneys, really 2.5 attorneys on the seed law team that do specialize in litigation. And so in the event that we do have to represent our clients in court, if it's within the scope of what they can do, we do take that. But I would say that over the last 2.5 years, we've probably only had to go that far for probably 5 clients.
Right.
So yeah, I would say that that's probably a success.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so is there a question that I have not asked that you think people, the greater Kansas City community at large, should know about Adrienne or seed law or entrepreneur business law?
I'll just reiterate the fact that every business decision has a legal ramification. And on that same note, I would say that we all have a responsibility to help grow Kansas City's, legal and business community. And so we should take our responsibility as entrepreneurs and lawyers and, take it seriously, document our relationships, and really try to perfect our craft. Because, when everyone's focused on that, then we end up having healthy business relationships, personal lives, and probably a more connected city.
I'm saying Adrienne for mayor. Whatever, not now, but
I don't think I can still run. I couldn't do all of this.
I know.
God bless them.
All right. How do people get in contact with you? What's your website address and a great phone number to get a hold of you?
Sure. So for our website, you can visit us anytime online. The website is seed.legal, not .com, but .legal. We always have to say that. You can book an appointment that way. We have a Calendly, so you can pick a time that works best for you. You're, of course, welcome to call us anytime. Do you want me to share? What number should I share?
Just share your number, and then if we have to cut it and put the other number, we will.
Okay. So the firm number is 816-945-4249. The phone is actually answered from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So people can call really anytime, and leave a message. And then I would ask people to just follow us on social media. We're always trying to share client stories and the work that we're doing. And Seed Law is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
I think that's how I found you. I found you somehow on Twitter and started following you and was like, I need to know this woman.
I'm so glad we met.
Yes,
It was a year ago, Amy.
Say it again.
I can't believe that was a year ago.
I know. Time is fleeting. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'd like for you to stick on while I stop the recording. I appreciate it so much. And thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Let me click this off.
Hey, that was great.
Yay.
I'm so glad we did this.
I am so glad. Let's see. Stop. Oh, I don't need to do that. Hold on. Sorry.